So, good morning, everybody. So, before we
Morning,
start
ma'am.
good morning, sir. So, before we start our lesson, mag-review sa inyong past na lesson. What is the lesson gani last Tuesday?
Weathering.
All
Weathering, ma'am.
about weathering, ma'am.
Weathering, ma'am. Weathering.
Very good. Our last topic was weathering. So, what are the two types of weathering? Anybody?
Chemical.
Physical and
Physical
chemical.
and
Chemical
chemical.
weathering, ma'am.
Very good. So, can anybody give me an example of physical weathering?
Cross wedging.
Very good, Sandy. Frost wedging. Can
Abrasion.
anybody, abrasion? There are different types of abrasion, pero pwede na siya. And lastly, can somebody give me an example of chemical weathering?
Oxidation.
Oxidation.
Very
It's a
good.
rust.
Carbonation.
So, for our topic today, it is still connected to weathering. This is the byproduct of weathering and um, other things that happen in our environment. So, our topic for today will be about soil. So, soil. Di ba, soil is very common to us. We can see it anywhere, even inside our houses. Even if our houses are concrete, you can still see soil. So, it is a product of weathering and erosion. Weathering and erosion. Unsa na siya? So, can anybody give me the difference of weathering and erosion? Unsay diferensya niya? Hello?
Ang erosion can move. Erosion can move sediment to the
One, ma'am.
Yes, Troy?
For me, ang weathering kay more on mo breakdown siya, then ang erosion kay mo erode siya via kuan um from the force of gravity. Mura na nasabtan.
Correct, yeah, po siya. The specific definition is weathering happens in place and erosion happens when there is movement to another place. That is the difference of weathering and erosion. So, soil is a product of weathering and erosion that are uh, that are those unconsolidated materials that we find around us on slopes, beneath, beside, and on top of glaciers, in stream valleys, on beaches, and in deserts. Um, Imagine na even inside our houses, there is still soil. That is because as human brings the soil from outside, from inside. So soil is very common and gabi na gid if di mo kabaloon sa gidang soil. So there are the three sediment types. Number one is the solids. Number two is colloids. Number three is the ionic solution. So first, we'll talk about the solid sediments. Can anybody describe kaning sa upat ka picture kaning clay, loam, sand, and silt? What do you think are the difference?
ion density, ma'am.
Oo, yan density, correct. So clay is very compacted and loam is compacted pero dili siya same as clay na compacted lisod siya i-breakdown. Sand is very grainy and dali ra ma-separate and silt too. So eh, solid sediments are materials that is moved and deposited in a new location. Sediment can consist of rocks and minerals as well as the remains of plants and animals. It can be as small as a grain of sand or as large as a boulder. Erosion can move sediment through water, ice, or wind. So number 2 is colloids. So colloids are suspended clay-sized particles, the most chemically active fraction of soil. They are very small, less than 2 millimeters. Colloids can be either mineral, organic, crystalline, or amorphous. Amorphous meaning no defined shape. Soil colloids are finer sized fractions of soil, being also considered as the most chemically active portion of the soil because of their large surface area and the chemical structures of the materials involved. So the last one is the ionic solutions. Ionic solution is the dissolved compounds in water. Any substance which, when dissolved in water, separates into pairs or particles or ions of the opposite charge. For example, sodium chloride, or as in common, the table salt. When dissolved in water, forms positive ions of sodium and negative ions of chloride. So these are the two types of soil. Number 1 is the residual. Residual, or the byproduct of weathering. So residual is a solid formed from the weathering of local meaning dira ra. Wala siya gikuha sa lain nga place. Meaning nara gid siya dira siya nabua, saba, nag-oxidize or something, ana, and have the same mineral composition. The next one is transported, or it is the byproduct of erosion because it is the type of soil that has been moved and the sediments are not of the same composition as the parent rock. So, an example of the transported soil type is kanang soil na makita dito sa desert. A lot of those particles that can be found sa desert is not the same because some particles may have come from the south, the west, or the east. Bisa nasa nagikan ang mga particles na naa sa desert. So, soil and the soil profile. Soil properties may vary depending on how long the soil has been weathered. So, meaning, it depends on unsa kataas ang soil, unsa kataas ang pag-process sa soil. Diha magbase ang soil profile. So, kani, as you can see, here is the soil horizons. Kung lang ha, basing lang sa kanang inyo nakita nga picture. What are the difference sa tulo ka horizons? Kung lang, based on your observation, walay mali, wala ko'y tama. I mean, walay mali. All answers are correct. Hello?
Sa ako na observe ma'am kay mas dagan og rock sa ma'am, horizon B dapit below like sa substratum ma'am than sa surface ma'am.
So, the reason of that kay ang horizon A dili kaayo maka-retain og mga kanang permanent na rock because horizon A is a top layer rich on organic and minerals from biological activity. Meaning, diha permi na ay mahitabo nga erosion, na ay weathering, na ay decaying, na ay basta bisan unsang mahitabo. So, those particles can be moved. Those particles can wither and die and decay. So, horizon A is a very active part or a very active horizon. So horizon B is sediments with minerals dissolved from above. Once nga agian ganina og kanang grabe nga baha ang horizon A, those from horizon A will move down. Meaning, makover ang horizon A sa new type, new particles sa ibabaw. So, ma-push down ang horizon A to become the horizon B. Horizon B has ng clay-rich subsoil. This horizon is often less fertile than the topsoil but holds more moisture. It generally has a lighter color and less biological activity than the A horizon. Texture may be heavier than the A horizon too. Because B horizon A is very compacted, mo na siya nga gabi siya mo hold of moisture. And sa letter C, horizon C, as you can see, mostly unweathered bedrock. Dili ninyo makita itong mga dagko nga bato-bato. You can see soil particles, but not that prominent because most of them are rocks nga, bulto pa kayo. Wala pa siya na buak, wala pa siya na weather, wala siya na erode or something. Basta naarag na siya dira nga rock. So sea horizon has an underlying weathered rock from which the A and B horizons form. Some soils also have an O horizon, mainly consisting of plant litter which has accumulated on the soil surface. The properties of horizons are used to distinguish between soils and determine land use potential. So, kung imagine na ninyo ha, ang horizon A is very rich in kanang what do you call this, flora and fauna. Diba, it is very suitable for planting. That is the reason why this soil horizon is made. Kahit to know what do you call this, kanang mahimbawan nila ang kanang usable ba sa kay what if horizon B daghan kisa gabi kisa moist na you cannot plant things that are prone to decaying if ma-prolong siya sa moisture. So the next one is the soil development. So as you can see, kani daw, paki-describe, anybody? Sa inyo lang nakita. Kung na, sa inyo lang nakita. Walay mali aning answer. Kung na, sa inyo observation lang.
Ang nakita nako ma'am kay
Yes, Inaki.
ang immature soil ma'am kay dili pa kayo mixed bitaw kayo ma'am, like medyo separated pa ang rocky nga area og ang dirt, pero pagka slowly pagka mature soil niya ma'am kay magka sagol-sagol na ang dirt og ang rock, like nagpaubos na din ang dirt.
Oo, correct. So, stage 1, kani sa ingon ni Anyaki nga meaning, separated pa ang soil o ang unweathered bed. Kasi bali na kag distinction between the two. If kung makasita kag inani nga stage, bali if imo nang kwaon ang topmost layer, diretso na din ka dito sa unweathered nga bedrock. Wala pa kayo makita nga clay, diretso din ka sa bedrock. So sa stage 2, as you can see, there is the development of topsoil by biological activity. Stage 2 is where those biological activities happen, then mo seep through na ang mga biological things nga musurok na siya dito sa bedrock. So as you can see sa stage 3, This is where mature, thick, and well-developed soil horizons happen. Makita na ninyo, di ba? Na nasa'y root, na nasa'y, makita na ninyo ang horizon B, makita nimo ang distinction sa horizon A, B, and C. Dira, oh. Nanay root, na ang soil, nisip through na siya sa bedrock. That is what we call as mature soil. So, the next one is controls of soil formation. Soil forms continuously but slowly from the gradual breakdown of rocks through weathering. Weathering can be a physical, chemical, or biological process. So, so from parent material, meaning minerals forming the basis of soil, it is one of the process of soil formation. Another one is the living organisms. They influence soil formation. Living organisms, when they die, they become fertilizers. They can help fatten up or give more nutrients to the soil, and they also help move soil particles. The next one is climate. Climate affects the rate of weathering and organic decomposition. So example sa climate, if grabe ka hot, do you think there will be with organic decomposition? Di ba? Wala kayo. So climate will greatly affect on the rate. The more humid the climate is, the more the decomposition is faster compared than the climate which is arid or hot. The next one is topography. The grade of slope affecting the drainage, erosion, and deposition. So topography is a major control too because lisod what you call this, erode if ang slope nimo is very inconsistent. Bali na ipaubos, na ipatas, ipaubos, ipatas. So bali, if na naman di ay, magbalik-balik na ang soil. Next one is time. Time influences the soil property. The longer the time it takes for soil to form, the more richer it is because there are a lot of minerals that already happened or a lot of minerals that is mixed to the soil. So here, i-discuss na to o ganang mas clearly ang controls of soil formation. Number one is climate. Soils develop because of weathering of materials on Earth's surface, including the mechanical breakup of rocks and the chemical weathering of minerals. As I said, di ba, the more na a rock or a place will receive precipitation, the more faster things will decay, erode, whether because of the weakening of the structure of the rock. This this is the first control of soil formation. Next one is climate. Oh, as you can see, so this shows how soil develops through different types of climate. As you can see, oh, there is a dry climate. More on solids siya. Solids. Then, sa sa horizon A, makita ninyo is humus and leach soil. Sa B, horizon B is calcium carbonate, pellets, and nodules precipitated. And sa horizon C are sandstone, shale, and limestone bedrock. Sa middle picture, as you can see, is kana lang a place that receives equal rain and equal heat. Diba? There are plants that can be seen above. Then, as you can see sa A horizon, the topsoil is rich in organic matter. Soil rich of soluble minerals, rich in clay and insoluble minerals. So B horizon, as you can see, is little organic matter dissolved in minerals from A horizon precipitated. Sa horizon B, ang makita ninyo is katong clay dayon na ay gamay pod na unweathered rock. And sa sea horizon, makita ninyo is kung ka siya, solid na unweathered rock. And there is a last picture sa wet climate. Sa A horizon, you can see the thin or absent humus, thick masses of insoluble iron and aluminum oxides, and occasional quartz. Sa B horizon is you can see the iron-rich clays and aluminum hydroxides. And there is a horizon C, you can see the thin leach zone and the malic igneous nga bedrock. So the next one is parent materials. This includes all different types of bedrock and any type of unconsolidated sediments, such as glacial deposits and stream deposits. Soil minerals form the basis of soil. They are produced from rocks, or as you can see there, the parent material through the process of weathering and natural erosion, water, wind, temperature change, gravity, chemical interaction, living organisms, and pressure differences all help break down the parent material. The type of parent materials and the conditions under which they break down will influence the properties of the soil form. For example, soils formed from granite are often sandy and infertile, whereas basalt under moist conditions break down to form fertile clay soils. So, para sa this example, di ba, from granite is sandy and infertile kay iyang properties cannot support biological action. Compared sa basalt nga when it degrades, it becomes fertile clay soils, which biological action will surely happen because it can support life matters. Next one is the topography. Soil can only develop where surface materials remains in place and are not frequently moved away by mass wasting. Soils cannot develop where the rate of soil formation is less than the rate of erosion, so steep slopes tend to have little or no soil. The shape, length, and grade of slope affects the drainage. The aspect of a slope determines the type of vegetation and indicates the amount of rainfall received. These factors change the way soils form. So, imagine na naaka sa mountain. Most of the vegetation you can see is naa sa ubos because soil can be moved, is easily moved downwards compared if i-move nimo siya upwards. Those materials or plants or trees you can see sa taas is due to the weathering na dito sa ibabaw, but it is not permanent because those weathered materials from above will be moved paubos because of gravity. We cannot control gravity. Gravity is as is. So, soil materials are progressively moved within the natural landscape by action of water, gravity, and wind, diba? As I said. For example, heavy rains erode soils from hills to lower areas, forming deep soils. Deep soils which are very, what do you call this? Mas dali sa tamnan. Kay mas daghan siya sulod na minerals and much deeper siya compared sa lain nga places. The soils left on the steep hills are usually shallower, which means para sa anang mga kahoy nga motubo ana. Dali ra siya mahugno kung naay movement sa soil or there is a very strong rain. Kay dili inadto kalawom iyang hawid sa soil. Kay shallow ra lagi siya. The next one is the organisms. So organisms means soil formation is influenced by organisms such as plants, microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, burrowing insects, animals, and humans. So the biological action like decaying determines the abundance of nutrients in the soil. Kay the more nga naay magka-decay nga mga organisms, the more the soil is richer in nutrients, the more it is suitable for plants. Compared sa kanang place nga kuan nga murag sandy ang iyang texture or kanang ang iyang content, dili kay sa inana kadaghan ang flora o fauna nga makita nimo kay lisod itubo. You need to have a very kanang gabi ka kagahi baka na parang suko sa kalisod itubo nga place. And the last one is kaning time. Even under ideal conditions, soil takes thousands of years to develop. It takes thousands of years to develop, pero it takes mere seconds to remove the soil layer para move siya in another place. So, ibali, imagine ha, kanang in hills, dugay kinasa nito, it took millions of years to form, pero isa lang ka bagyo or something, ma-move to nga layer, di ba? So, time can control the soil formation. So, that's the end of our discussion. Any questions or clarifications, feel free to ask. Ayo, napay tao? Na may question?
Wala ra, ma'am.
Wala naman.
Wala naman.
Sure na dyan na? Okay, if wala na question, class dismissed. Wala na dyan?
Wala na tao dyan, ma'am.
Wala naman.
Okay, sige, goodbye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.